Hi, I am Andi the Knittress, and this is my corner of the internet where I like to share all things yarn. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, and here on YouTube as Andi the Knittress. And you can also find me Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook as TheKnottyKnittress, which is my small business. So today is August 19th. It is a Friday, and this is episode 34, I do believe. And I don't have any FOs that were not made on my circular sock machine. But I have two FOs and then like a DIY FO. So let's go ahead and start with my yarn FOs. This is the Secret Super, the Society of Super Secret Self-Striping Sock Knitters from Pretty Twisted Yarns. This was the October color. So it was the August colorway. It was called October, and this is it here. I did something a little different with this. I did a little bit of a texture on this sock to where each time the color stripe changed, I would lift every other needle on my on the cylinder, and I used a 64 cylinder crank around one row, and then I would drop them back down. You can't really see the texture very much on when it's on the foot. You can see it a little bit better, I think. Yes, you can see it a little better there on the sock blocker, how I did that. It's like a slip stitch. Essentially, it's the same thing as doing a slip stitch if you were knitting by hand. And I just thought that was fun. It's a very nice, fun textured sock. I just love the mini that she included in this package. Now this black up here is black that I had left over from my Jack and Sally socks, but this was the mini that came with it, so I did that on the heel and the toe. And I just thought these were super fun, and I absolutely love the texture. It takes a little longer to do the texture on the circular sock machine, but it's well worth it, I think. So that is one FO that I have. And then the other FO that I have is, I promise you guys I do knit with other yarn other than Pretty Twisted yarns. I just happen to have a lot in my stash. So the other FO I have is Pretty Twisted Yarns. And this was her mystery. It was a mystery Halloween skein that I signed up for, and it was called Happy Halloweeny, and it was very pretty. And I did this on my Erlbacher with the 64 stitch cylinder and half pitched ribbing. And what half pitched means is I turned, usually your ribber kind of lines up with each slot on the cylinder, and I turned it so that it was going in between each slot on the cylinder. And so that enabled me to double the amount of stitches that I usually can knit with on the machine. And I turned the gauge really loose so that it would be a nice fitting hat. So this essentially is a 1x1 ribbed hat with 128 stitches. So, and I would think that it's equivalent, my gauge is about equivalent to knitting on maybe a size 3, maybe a 2.5, but I just think it's super cute, and it could be slouchy or worn with the brim folded up. Or it could be kind of slouchy. But I just love the way that turned out. All those fun colors and the kind of way that the yarn did its own like micro stripe with this rib pattern. I think that this hat's actually going to end up going to Bobby. My hair's a little big for hats these days. It looks weird. I don't know. We'll see. So the other FO I have, hang on, is a DIY project that I got the idea from, I want to say her name is Kayla. I think it's Kayla, and I apologize if I'm wrong, and I will put it in here if I'm incorrect. From Alt Knot, and I follow her on YouTube as well as Instagram. And she had this video where she did a DIY blocking board, and she had a really cool bamboo Lazy Susan that was shaped like a spider web. She said she had gotten it at Home Goods, and we don't have a Home Goods like close to where I'm at, but my friend on the East Coast does have a Home Goods, and she went and took a peek for me to see if she could find that spider web Lazy Susan. They didn't have one, but she got me this really awesome one, which you can't see, so I will pop in a picture of when I was working on it. But it's got a skull with some roses and stuff. But I have since turned it into a blocking board, and then I have all of my little squares for my blanket of calm sitting on it. So let me show it to you. So it is a Lazy Susan, which it doesn't need to be a Lazy Susan. It could just be a cutting board, but I just thought that was really cool. So you take a ruler and you mark all these lines, and so Kayla says to just mark little dots, and what I did was I just took a pencil and I drew in a grid mark so that it would be easier for me to drill all the holes kind of right on the cross mark of the grid. And you can still kind of see maybe, yeah, a little bit on the side here. Some of my pencil marks, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. We sanded it down. I didn't want to sand it down too much and then lose like the engraving of the skull. But that was a workout for my arms for sure. There's a lot of holes on here, but I just like it because then I can block all of my fun little squares for my blanket of calm, which is a very old whip. I think it's a whip from 2020. And I'm thinking about actually taking out what I have put together and then blocking them like this, because these are all nice and uniform and the same size. And before I was just adding them together as I went, and they're a little not uniform. And I also I like the way the join that I did looks. I do not like the amount of time that it takes to join them together. So I'm basically doing a mattress stitch with the very edge of each of the squares, and it's just very, very time consuming. I think there is faster methods for joining these together. That's why I stopped this, I think, initially, because I just didn't enjoy joining them together. So I think I'm going to take this apart. I'm going to frog this, but not like really. I'm just going to unattach all of these squares from each other, and then I'm going to block them evenly like all of these, and then I'm going to find a crochet join that I like. The reason I didn't do the crochet join in the first place was because I didn't want like a ridge on either side of the blanket. I wanted it to be as flat as possible, and that worked. Like it's a very smooth join. There's no ridge where they're connected, but I think in the long run I'd rather have the blanket um, with a ridge than potentially never have it, because I avoid putting the squares together. So I think that I'm going to frog this work and then block them and then find a new way to attach them. If you have a preferred method for joining crochet squares, put it down below. Let me know. I've looked at a couple and I just am undecided on which one I want to do, but I want one where I'm not adding color to the squares. I want the squares to be, because I don't want to use the same color to join them all. So I don't want like color in between them, but I don't really want a ridge that's like gonna stick up between them. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll find something out. But if you guys have suggestions, let me know. So I'm gonna take that apart and then I'm gonna block those. But in the meantime, I can show you some of the squares that I have finished. So I don't know if these would be considered. They're not hose because it's not a half object. They're like lots of mini squares, but I don't know. Call them finished objects because they are finished squares, right? So I'm just pulling these off of. Okay, so I got a nice little stack of squares that I finished. This one was a colorway from Here in Colors Dye Works. This was, I don't remember the actual name of it. It was something to do with autumn or fall leaves or something like that. But my friend noticed that it kind of looks like a Cool Ranch Dorito. So it kind of has been called Cool Ranch ever since then. So that's a fun colorway from the past. This one is Mazama from Here in Colors Dye Works. And I don't remember the names of any of these next few, but all of these Christmas ones, these are from Pretty Twisted. That one's sparkly. And then this was from Goths Like Christmas too. And this might have also been from that same one, but it also could have been from another Christmas because I got a couple of her Christmas colorways last year. This one was from Driftwood Farm, and yarn. This was from an advent, I think, from 2019, as well as this color and this color. And then this is 80s Kids Purple from Pretty Twisted Yarns. And this is 80s Kids Green from Pretty Twisted Yarns. And these two are the same color. This is from the Driftwood Farm Advent from 2019. This is Zombie Apocalypse Unplugged by Pretty Twisted Yarn. This is Purple Rain from PTY. And this is Humid. And Spring Forward. And, oh, what was this one called? I don't remember what this pretty blue was called. But it's also Pretty Twisted Yarns. This is Retrospect. And then this is Here in Colors Dye Works. This was Gemini. And then this is Here in Colors Dye Works. This is actually a new color of his called Frog's Breath, which I will show you guys in a little while. So I got a nice little stack that I can join together. And then I will block all of these and put them all together, and we'll see how big that ends up being. Yeah. So thank you, Kayla, for that awesome idea of making a blocking board, because that had me revisit my blanket of calm, which I really like. And I can move all of these rods around, and I could block things up to, I think this is 14 inches across. So pretty cool. I like it. And cool thing is it has, can you see? Yeah, there's like a hole in the back of the thing there. I could hang this on the wall and then look at it when it's not in use. So that's fun. And all of this lives in my fun little basket where I put all of my small minis in. There's actually a whole skein of yarn in there right now, but all of my little minis go to live in there. And this is a rather old whip. I'm pretty sure I cast it on in 2020 when it came out. So the next whip I have, let me show you guys the progress I have made on the Clazinia shawl that I had pulled out of my stash for Frog It or Finish It. I'm not going to do Frog It or Finish It today. I'm going to wait until I finish an item, because otherwise, if the next one I pull out, I want to finish it, then that's another whip that gets added, and then that's how some of my projects end up under the table in the first place. So when I finish this project, then I will pull another one out, which I don't think it'll take me much longer. Hopefully by the next episode I will have worked on it. So this is, I think it's Clazinia or Clazinia. I don't know. It is a person's name. It's named after that person. And it is by Kristen Bishop. And it's a really wonderful crochet pattern. I am using a Furls size E to make this. And I am using Hobie yarn in one of their Halloween twister colorways. And I'm getting down to the, it's getting really floppy. This is, I don't know, it's kind of awkward. So I'm a decent way through that cake. I'm into the purple and black now. I've passed all of the orange. And this is living in my Stitching Plaza bag from George Ann. I love her bags. They're a really good size and you can fold them over and work out of them. They're really nice. I also happen to have the matching Notions pouch for this bag. I really love this fabric. And so let's show you the shawl. I kind of got to move that board. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I am not quite out of the orange. It looks like part of it got pulled out of the center. So that's the front side. So it has grown quite a bit. Nope, that's the back side I'm showing you guys. So if you see where the pumpkin marker is there, that is where I showed it to you guys last episode, and I've got I went quite a way. I went almost a full. I'm almost a full repeat. So this is where I was. This is where I was, and this is where I'm at now. So almost a full repeat. But I love how it's turning out. It's getting to be very deep. It's very lacy, very pretty. And I've got my fun little skull progress keepers on each end. That helps me know which stitch I need to go in as my last stitch, so that when I count my rows or my stitches on the side, I know that this is the last spot that I need to go in. I'm not as prolific at crochet as I am at knitting. So I have to have all the little markers, and I still have to count my stitches sometimes on the side to make sure I did it correctly. But I'm finding actually that the chart helps me a little more visibly know whether or not I did it correctly, because on the chart it'll have the little pictures, and where I usually have the problem is kind of at the point of the shawl. So the picture will show you the little double crochet mark, and then it'll go right up to where it's supposed to go in. So I can look at my end here and say, okay, I have 8 double crochets there, and I can see that they went into the second one here, did the chain however many, and then went into the second one from the end of that 8. So the chart actually helps me be more confident in my crocheting. So that is growing. I didn't even tell you guys what I'm wearing. We'll go back to that after I finish with after I finish with my whips. But I love the texture on the shawl. I am loving this fade into this purple. I'm almost out of that. I'm almost out of the purple orange and into purple black. So we'll work on that. I've been trying to, work on every project that I'm showing as a whip for at least a little while each week. Some projects, they just take over, but I am trying. I'm going to put the pattern back in there. Oh, let me move my marker so that that's good for next time. All right. So the next whip I have is my Pretty Twisted Penguono, which I had to move to my giant bag because I have all the yarns in there. So let me fish this out. And right now it's currently not on needles because I'm at a point where everything is on waste yarn and I hadn't picked up anything else. So this is my Pretty Twisted Yarns Penguono, and I have it on stitch holder cord there. Both of these waste yarns needed to be held, so I just used the same cord. These are the ones I have cut for me for my sleeve sizes, so it's kind of perfect. It works out just like that. So the last time you guys saw this, I had just started this welt right here. So I finished the welts on that side as well as this side. And then I am not following, because this is my second one, I'm not following exactly the order that he says. I like to make it even back and forth. So in the pattern, you would do that, do these welts, and then do these welts, and then you end up working on one whole side of the sweater and then the other whole side of the sweater. But the way it's constructed, you have to stop, pick up stitches in a different direction a couple of times. And whenever I have to stop and do that, I figure I might as well do this, and then you have to stop and pick up these stitches here and go this way. So I just did that side, and then I came over and I did this side. And then I did each of this essentially is the middle of the underarm here and there. And I did a fun striping sequence on that section, and that is with Humid and Hey You're Crazy Witch Unplugged. And it's looking very like St. Patrick's Day to me, but I still like it. I'm still here for it. And I did the same thing on that side. I just went opposite with which one I started. So you can see maybe this side I started with the Hey You're Crazy Witch, and then this side I started with the Humid. And then I'm just really liking that. So I will put a little more work on this in the next couple of weeks before I film another episode. And I like it. It's so soft. And I'm thinking about playing around with the construction, because the way Stephen West writes his patterns, you learn these skills and then you then have them and you can plug them in whenever you feel like. So you can kind of be creative. And so on this back panel, he has these gorgeous welts, and I love the welts. Maybe I don't like making them. They're not as fun as everything else because, you know, it's stockinette stitch, so there's knits and knit one side, purl the other. But I don't get to see them when I wear it. If they're on my back, like, I don't get to see the fun welts. So I was thinking about making welts down the front also, maybe, before it kind of does the decrease for the front panels. Is that the right word? Yeah. So I was thinking about when I have it on, when I cast on the stitches for the front side, doing some welts there, and then also on the shoulder cap that you join the front and the back with, I was thinking about, because it's just like a little garter stitch. It goes garter stitch this way. So I was thinking about on the end doing welts so that my back welts will have welts. The welt will kind of travel over the whole side. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I've got the yarn for it. I'm going to play around with that construction. We'll see if it works out like I have in my head. But I think it will. I think it will. So there's that whip. And my daughter is 10 years old. and sorry if I'm jostling my microphone. She's 10 years old, and she has the best fashion sense, in my opinion. She likes to put crazy things together, and she just wears whatever makes her happy. And I love that. She doesn't care what other people think. And she's always wearing fun textures and different prints, and she'll wear jeans with a dress, and what I find a little weird, but you know, that's her and she is comfortable in that, and then I just love it. Well, she asked me to make her a penguono because she loves mine. She can't wear the one I made for myself because it's big on me. So she's just 10. It's big on her. So she asked me to cast her one on. So I did. I mean, when your kid asks you for a penguono and they're completely knit worthy, you make them a penguono. So hers is not nearly as far as my other one, but I had this cone of, this is Jaeger Spun Mainline, and this is in one of her favorite colors. Well, it's close to her favorite color. Her favorite color is probably closer to this here, but I'm going to use this as the main holding the whole way, and then I am just holding it double with other fingering weights. So that will make a smaller penguono. So I have cast on for that. And I did, so you're supposed to cast on provisionally with this. And from my Zaftig, I learned about using Jenny's Magic Cast On as a provisional cast on. So that's what I did. I did Jenny's Magic Cast On, and then I moved them all to barber cord. Well, it's stitch holder cord. Barber cord's a certain brand of it. Mine's called stitch holder cord. But I moved them all to stitch holder cord, and then I don't have to unpick a provisional cast on to transfer it to the needles. All I have to do is plug my needle in the end and slide them on when I need to work with those. So this is the Jaeger Spun Mainline, and it is held double with, I went ahead and used, this is the Midnight Rambler from Primrose that I frogged from the Rogue River shawl. So I'm going to use that in her penguono, as well as the Crazy About Tiffany's colorway and other scraps and stuff in pinks and purples and yellows and whatever I find, so that she can have herself a fun penguono. And every time I'm working on something now, she's like, is that my penguono? Are you working on mine? And I'm like, no, I haven't done it yet, but I will get some more in. I just cast this on the other day. So, and that is living in my Blackbird Sycamore bag that I got. I showed you guys last week. It's massive. It holds an entire coat of yarn plus a bunch of scraps. So that is another whip that I cast on. I didn't work on my Zaftig tee at all because I worked on my Beetle Juice sweater. Okay. Angle might be a little different. Had issues. This is sort of like take 2 of the second half. So sorry if it doesn't seem as natural, because I've said this all once before. My camera messed up and was recording like 1-second videos 800 times. So yeah. So my next whip I have been working on, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And it is my Beetle Juice sweater. And the last time you all saw it, I was right here. I have already moved the marker because this is the second time, but I was just above the letters. And and I have since finished the color chart and both of the sleeves because I skipped ahead and did the sleeves because I wanted to, and also they were kind of getting on my nerves a little bit inside the sweater because the yarn was still attached for those. But I love it. I'm so excited to have this done. I did overestimate a lot with the yarn for this sweater. I really could have gotten away with one skein for the sleeves at the gauge that I'm working at. I have 42 grams left in each of these skeins. So I could have done slightly shorter sleeves and got away with one skein, but I love it. It's sits about bracelet length right now. I'm going to finish what's left in this black skein, and then I think I'm going to do a split hem with 1x1 ribbing where the back hem is a little bit longer than the front hem. So I'm so excited about this. If you want this chart, I'm more than happy to send it to you. Just send me a message and I will email you a copy of this chart. The chart is only from this skull to the bottom line underneath the Beetle Juice. I just then repeated it upside down on the bottom. So that's my Beetle Juice sweater, and this yarn is pretty twisted. BFL, I think she calls it her Endure base, and this purple is Purple Rain. The green is Acid Trip. The black is Don't Fear the Reaper, and then the self-striping is There's a Beetle in My Juice. I love it so much. And that concludes my whips. What I'm wearing, this is my carved pullover by Emily Harver, and it is knit in Forbidden Woolery or Forbidden Fiber Co. They used to be one and then they've changed to the other. I will put it in here what they are, and I will also link it down below. In the color Springtime in Paris, and I love it. I'm getting ready to make another one of these as soon as my yarn gets here, so you guys will see a second one in the future. Spoiler, it'll be in purple. Yeah, so the next thing I have is acquisitions. So I wanted to show you guys my friend Becca, who sent me the Lazy Susan for the DIY blocking board, is so awesome. And she also sent me this very cool wreath. And it says the witch is in, and it's got a little witch hat, and it's got some witch feet, and it's really cute. And I have a really cool one that she sent me before that hangs on my front door at Halloween. I think this one, whoops, sorry for bumping the mic. I think this one is going to live on my wall all the time because Halloween decor is just home decor, right? Yeah, I think so. So that's from my friend Becca. I don't think that she makes these for sale, but if you absolutely have to have one, I can maybe reach out to her and put you in touch with her. I don't know. We'll see, but I just love that. It's really cute. The other thing I got, I'm all discombobulated because I've already done this once, is, oh yes, I got some mug rugs from Georgianne from Stitching Plaza. I had ordered my Beetle Juice bag from her, and she sent me a free little mug rug in there, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite one. It sits at my computer desk, And so I messaged her and I was like, hey, can you send me a couple more? Because I like to have them throughout the house because I walk around with my coffee or my drinks or whatever, and I just don't want rings on the top of everything. So I just have random mug rugs throughout the house. So I said, make them in whatever fabric you want. I just like them. So she sent me some Beetle Juice mug rugs, and they have really cool, pretty green fabric on the back, and that purple on the front, and the Beetle Juice fabric there. So thank you, Georgianne, for those awesome little mug rugs. And then I saw that my friend Shaylee from Hens and Chicks sold felted mug rugs, so I got a set of them from her. And they're so cute and very squishy. And this is like knit fabric, and then it's felted, and they're just very pretty and very cute. And I like it a lot. And then Instagram has a way of putting things in my vision that maybe wouldn't have been there prior. So I'm thankful sometimes for the algorithms because I get to find new makers, and awesome. So I came across this website and there was a torch, like a fire torch, sitting on this person's desk, and then they had like little glass rods that they were then molding and shaping into different things. And I was just amazed. I probably watched that reel like 5 or 6 times in a row. And so then I went and checked out their website, or their grid, and then went to their website, and it is wrong side, AndiTheKnittress.com, and they are Ann Tutor on Instagram as well. And I got these cute little progress keeper stitch markers. I got a lime green sheep head and butt. Cute little sheep butt and a little sheep head. And I just thought that that was the cutest thing. Plus they're in my favorite color. And they are on the little leatherback clasps, which are my favorite. And they also had this cool F-bomb. So I got those. So thank you, Instagram, for putting things in my view that wouldn't usually be. And they all came very nicely wrapped. They were in tissue paper and then in this cloth and this cool little tin. So they made it to me very safely without fear of them getting broken. So I thought that was really awesome. And then another acquisition I have is not fiber related at all. But again, I'm a sucker for a targeted ad. And I got a pin back button maker. So like pin back button maker. So I can print out little things and make little badges, and it's just awesome. Like, and it came in my favorite color. It's really cool. But yeah, you just put the little parts in there, you put it in there, push the handle down, the other parts in there, and you push it down and it makes a little button. So I thought that was cool. And those are for sale on my shop, but also if you make an order, I'm going to throw one in anyway, because why not? Who doesn't love a freebie? So that is a fun acquisition that I got. Again, sucker for a targeted ad. I mean, I guess that's what it's for, right? Is to suck people in to buy things. This, however, I went looking for. I went to Andrea The Cat Lady, and that's CATT for Craft All the Things. I went to her site to check out her yarns because I was looking for a beautiful color in a BFL because I'm going to have so much yarn left over from my Pretty Twisted that's BFL, and I will have a full skein of black, almost a whole skein of green, and then probably a half or skein of more of the purple. So why not throw some pink in with it and make something fun? I don't know what I'm making yet, but I wanted to support a friend and then also have a yarn that could go with the other yarns in a future project. And with that amount of yarn, it's probably 1, 2, 3.5. It's enough to do something cool. So I got this beautiful color, and it is on her Formidable sock. Formidable, like cat, fur. I think that's fun. And it is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, 420 yards on 150 grams. And it is called Bleeding Hearts. And it's just a gorgeous pink tonal. And I love it. So thank you, Andrea, for having that in your shop. And she is getting ready to do a big sale, I think. If you follow her, if you subscribe to her newsletter, you will find out more about that, or maybe it's happening now. I will link her shop down below so you can check that out. So, oh, winner, which I've already drawn the winner, but I think it's still on my screen. I filtered out my own comments, and yes, so the winner of this sock set in like the animal print is Shaylee from Hens and Chick Fiber Arts. And she said her favorite animal has been panda for most of her life, but it is a black-nosed Valais sheep. And I got to see a black-nosed Valais sheep for the first time when I went to Black Sheep Gathering, and it was a big sheep. I guess I don't know what size I thought sheep were, but it was a pretty decent sized sheep. It was really, really cute and very, very soft. And funny thing about panda bears is that is my nickname. I have been Andi Pandy for my whole life. That is what my mom and my dad and my grandma call me, Andi Pandy or Panda Bear. So pandas are one of my favorite animals. But send me a message and I will mail this out to you. And thank you for following along. All right. Feels like it went by really fast because I got interrupted with the weird camera thing. But I think that I talked about everything. I got what I'm wearing. I finished my whips. Yes. Okay. So, shop news. All right. So, funny thing, I don't know if it happens to other people. I can't be the only one. You're never the only one that things happen to. But I often mix up my words, like a lot, and don't even realize that I have mixed up my words and think that I said what I meant to say. My family likes to joke because I am forever calling our laundry room the pantry. It just happens. I will tell the kids, hey, go in the pantry and get the extra crock pot because we have shelves in there and our extra crock pots and stuff are in the laundry room, but I say pantry. So then they all proceed to go to the pantry, which is right behind me. This is the pantry. The laundry room is on the other side of the house. And I'm like, what are you doing? Go in the laundry room. Anyway, I say things wrong all the time. It's happened to me ever since I had kids, I swear they sucked out all of my brain. I'm pretty sure they did. But I mix things up. So I was talking with Bobby and we were discussing what colors he should dye. And I thought maybe he should re-dye Knittress Camo, which I will pop in a picture here of what Knittress Camo looks like because it's one of my favorite colors. Or maybe he should do like a Christmas camo. And you know, camo is the style dye. He's just named them that. They're not camouflaged. It just kind of reminds him of that when they're in the dye pot with the technique that he uses. Dye pan, not a pot. But anyway, so I was trying to say Christmas or Knittress, and I straight up said citrus camo. Didn't realize that that's what I said. So we're talking about it, and he hears citrus camo and starts thinking about citrus camo colors, and I am talking about Knittress camo or Christmas camo and thinking about those colors. So then he starts pulling colors, and I'm like, that's not in Knittress camo. Why, like, why are you pulling those? He's like, Andi, you didn't say Knittress camo. You said citrus camo. So fun, happy little accident made this beautiful color be born. I think that turned out really awesome. We've got lots of beautiful orange and some yellow and some limey colors in there with his signature black speckles, which are on all of his camo line. And it turned out so pretty. I will put in a picture here of what it looks like knit up, which interestingly enough, if you reskein yarn, it kind of looks closer to what it looks like knit up. So we have been experimenting a little bit with reskeining yarn to see, you know, a little more what it's going to look like. And, you know, these two are from the same dye lot, but they look very different. You know, like that one looks like maybe there's more green and a bigger chunk of orange in there, but really they're the same. And so when you reskein it, it looks a little closer to how it looks once it's knit up. So that's a fun new colorway, and this is on the Hemlock 2.0 base, I do believe. And if I have a base and it's called 2.0, it just means we're transitioning from the old base to the new base. And when all of the old base is sold out, we're going to take the 2.0 off there. So if you get one of these skeins at home, it's not going to say Hemlock 2.0 on the label. It's just going to say Hemlock. But I have to have them divided right now because there's slightly different yardage information between the old and the new. So that's just what 2.0 means. We're transitioning to bases that I like a little more than the original bases that we had. But we still like our names, our waterfall names, so we're gonna keep them. So that is Citrus Camo. That is new in the shop. And then there is a colorway that Bobby redyed. One of his original colors was dyed after Toki Falls, which is a waterfall that he likes. It's very gorgeous. I will pop in a picture here of the original like inspiration with the original dye job. So he decided to redye that colorway. And now the original colorway was on a natural colored alpaca. And this is that original colorway woven up. So it's very pretty and he loves this. And this is all alpaca. And that was the natural colored base that it was on originally. when he first started dyeing, because that was some berry yarn that I had on hand. So he decided to revisit that colorway, and he now has a base called Toki Falls, which is his MCN base, merino cashmere nylon. So he has revisited that color on that base. So it's really gorgeous. And again, we have reskeined it. So same yarn. One's reskeined and one is not. And I will pop in a picture here of what it looks like knit up. But I think he did an awesome job recreating that. And it really does look like the picture that inspired him. So that is the Toki color on the Toki Falls base. This is a merino cashmere nylon. And then another new color that he dyed recently is inspired by a lovely lady that I get to call a friend, and she is one of my locals, and she just absolutely loves Bobby's yarn. And we went out to a lovely winery, and we had frozen like wine slushies, and they were so good. They had one that was called Berry Breeze and one that was called Peach Amaretto, and they were delicious. We got to sip on those and chit chat and have a lovely view. And I mixed the two of them together. So I had the Berry Breeze and the Peach Amaretto, and it was so good. I keep thinking about those. I need to go back to the vineyard and get another one. So he dyed this lovely colorway called Peach Berry on his worsted weight yarn. And it just happens to go really well with some of the other colors in the worsted weight. So we have Peach Berry, and we have Flamingo, and we have Lava Lamp. And they just fade together absolutely beautiful. And I know somebody who's going to put them together, and I cannot wait to show the fade that she's working on. No hurry, but it's going to be gorgeous. I can't wait to see these live together. I've already seen what these two look like living together, but now that one's going to be in there. That's just such a good fade. Now, right now in the shop, we only have one of these Flamingo left, but I think we just might have to dye more because this little worsted weight fade set, I mean, come on. How pretty is that? So, Peach Berry on the White Horse Falls base, Flamingo, and Lava Lamp. So that is new in the shop. I think there's a couple of new sock tubes in the shop. I can pop in a picture here because I don't have them handy. And then the only other new color that we have, which is not in the shop yet, because he's still trying, he wants to make a grouping. This is called Frog's Breath. And I don't know if you guys know what Frog's Breath is from, one of my favorite movies, which Frog's Breath, you know, is a classic witch ingredient, right? But it's from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she's got Frog's Breath and Deadly Nightshade and Wormswort. So look for those colors in the future because he's going to be putting those ideas to fruition. But this is the only skein of Frog's Breath that I have at the moment, and I would like to give it away. So I am almost to 500 subscribers, I think. Let me double check. I am at 439 subscribers. When I hit 500 subscribers, I will give this Skein of Frog's Breath away. So share with your friends, like and subscribe, pass it along, and you could be the lucky winner of this gorgeous green and this deep navy, almost teal in spots, and it knits up gorgeous. There is one skein of this cranked up in a sock tube on my website, TheKnottyKnittress.com. So you could go purchase that. But if you would like to win this, share my channel with your friends. I would like to keep growing and connecting with all of you. Let's see. Do I have any life news? The kids are home for a couple of weeks. They're all finished their summer courses. I think in 2 weeks they will be heading back to school. My middle child just turned 16 years old yesterday. 16. I just can't. The time goes by so fast. But we just had a fun little bowling alley birthday because that's kind of what he wanted to do. Don't make too big a deal about birthdays. I used to when they were little, but then it kind of just, the momentum kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just seemed like I was putting so much time and money into throwing a party to celebrate their birthday when I could take that time and spend it with my child and take that money and spend it on my child. So I kind of stopped the big giant birthdays, made them a little more personal, a little more they make me happier to spend time with my kid on their birthday. They always get whatever it is they want for dinner on their birthday, and nobody has to do any chores on their birthday. And he kind of had a good time. He invited one of his friends, and it was just nice to watch my kid interact um, with another kid. And not many of you know probably because I don't put it out there often, but my boys are autistic, both of them. They are 18 and 16 now. They are very highly functioning, but they have weird quirks about them, and peers a lot of times can't see past their differentness to see how awesome they really are. They're just amazing guys, and uh, they they're just I'm blessed to be their mom. But one of the things about my middle guy in particular is he's not really ever had like friends and interacted with friends because he's just very socially awkward in that way. And it just brought such a smile to my heart to see him just joke around and interact with this friend like a normal kid. Like I've never seen him interact with people that way. So it's kind of awesome to see him grow and change and become confident in who he is because he's a pretty cool guy. I mean, all my kids are awesome. They really are. Um, they're very quirky, and I love that. I cherish that in them. I would not have it any other way. But it's just been nice to watch him grow as a human, and I don't know, just it just was a really bright moment in this past week. So, but other than that, I don't think there's much life going on. Just trying to be inspired. Um, and I have a class that is coming up soon that I get to take for my business. That starts in September. So, but yeah, other than that, it's just everyday life.
You're so cute and friendly. Who do you belong to? I don't know what you eat, or I'd feed you. Oh, that's nifty. You can scratch your back with your
My business.
horn.
So like, subscribe, share with your friends, take a peek at my website. I have a newsletter that goes out every month, just with kind of what's going on, basically where my head's at. So feel free to check that out. And until then, take life one stitch at a time, because that is all you can do.